Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Greetings to you all. My name is Hodan Omar, and today I'm here to tell you a little bit about my brother Guled Omar, who is in prison today and needs your help. Guled was born in a refugee camp in Kenya after our mom fled the civil war in Somalia. Guled was raised here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where he was known as a young man full of faith, empathy, who loved to help many people. Guled, when he was a teenager in college, he unfortunately said some things in private that he now regrets. He was arrested, and Guled was put in solitary confinement and was convicted for conspiracy. Then Guled was sentenced to 35 years in prison. My brother Guled had no record, never harmed anyone. We believe that he never intended on hurting anyone. And now he is sentenced to 35 years, and for a 20-year-old, that's a very harsh sentence.
Guled has been incarcerated for the last 4 years in Leavenworth Prison. While in prison, he has counseled and ministered many inmates to support them and to give them hope and virtue while in prison. He's been doing incredible work with many inmates. His cell door is always open for helping others. He's also working on himself. He's building up his own character, his own faith. He's taking college classes through Ohio University. He writes his own newsletter about life in prison, about faith, and over 600 people today receive that newsletter throughout the world. He communicates to his family and to the community through talking on the phone and through speeches, and works every day to build up his own life. He meditates, he prays, his own study, really works every day to keep his health and his faith and his body up and healthy in a very difficult environment in Leavenworth Prison.
My brother Guled Omar needs your help today. He no longer has a lawyer. He needs to raise up to $75,000 to file for his appeal. This is his last chance of him getting out of prison before he's 55 years old, before we get to see our little boy again. And it's really painful, and we really need your help. Below there is a website. There's a link, and you can donate for his legal fees. If you do, we'll be able to send you his newsletters, the past ones and the future ones. Then you'll be able to hear him. You'll be able to hear his voice and get a little bit of taste of who Guled is.
We'd like to end by playing a few minutes of Guled speaking from within Leavenworth Prison. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You know, it's so hard for people to be just when they have so much enmity and hatred for others, especially in the times that we're living in today. And some people don't even understand, you know, why they have this enmity or hatred towards others. And, you know, justice is more important than your hatred and enmity, because it can bring more consequence, it can bring more harm than you could ever imagine when you make a decision out of your, you know, your anger or out of your hatred or whatever it is. For that moment, you may think that, you know, it's justified for you to react the way you're reacting to a certain situation. But if you take on the higher path, if you take on the, you know, the more righteous path, which is, even though, you know, you're angry, or even though you have some sort of disliking towards someone or something, that you decide to take that just path, in the later end, the consequences will be better. You know, being kind to somebody and showing them empathy and showing them love at a time where they might not be expecting that can change their whole life. And I've been practicing that myself in here, where I've seen people who, might say some, really racist slurs, or might say some certain things about, me being a Muslim and in the situation that I'm in. And later on, when they need something, they ain't got nothing to eat at the end of the night, I'll pull up, bring them something. And it'll go way longer. That little action that I did would go way longer than, me retaliating in an angry manner of, trying to be violent back with them, or trying to say something, mean back to them. That one act of kindness does way more. Because I've had conversations and interactions with people where one act of kindness does better for somebody than any punishment they could have received. This is where I find love. This is where I find happiness at, in a place where all of it is darkness. And there are times that I feel engulfed by it, where it gets blinding, it gets dark, it gets hard, it gets confusing, and it drops you down to your knees. Literally drops you down to your knees and makes you call out.
This call is from a federal prison.
Makes you call out to God for help. And this is, although at the time that I'm going through this, man, it's the hardest time, but it's the best time, because that is the time that I realize, God's greatness, and the least selfish. I become the least, I start looking outside of myself the most at this time, when I'm at my lowest, when I'm on the ground and I'm begging and I'm asking why am I going through this? Why am I hurting? What have I done to deserve this? When I have those feelings and I break down, this is when I'm closest to Him. And sometimes when I feel that I'm going a little far away, something happens where I get brought back down to my knees to get back close with Him. And coming back from that is always the most beautiful and amazing experience. It's strengthening. It's powerful, It gives me the ability to continue. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا قوامين لله شهداء بالقسط ولا يجرمنكم شنآن قوم على ألا تعدلوا هو أقرب للتقوى واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون. And this verse is, O you who believe, stand out firmly for Allah as just witnesses, and let not the enmity and hatred of others make you avoid justice. Be just. That is nearer to piety, and fear Allah. Verily, Allah is well acquainted with what you do.